Hey folks, I recently shared the 7 issues that I've had with Sony over the years and explained how they've addressed them and told you that I've subsequently bought an A7R Mark IV. Now in this follow-up video, I'm going to tell you why I got this, and I'm going to walk you through my thought process on the lenses that I'm going to get, and hopefully by explaining how I go about that, this video will be of use to those of you who are in a similar situation. Now, to head off the inevitable Sony sellout comments, let me make 2 things clear. First of all, I have never been paid for, promoted, or been given equipment by Sony. And 2, I'm not replacing my Nikon gear. I still consider myself a Nikon DSLR shooter primarily. I'm just adding this to my bag, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, before we jump in, folks, this video is brought to you by KEH Camera. KEH have the world's largest range of used equipment with over 50,000 items in stock. They've been in business for over 40 years. They clean, check, and provide every item with a 180-day warranty. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, check them out. Link is in the description below. So, a quick overview on why I decided to add this to my kit. Now, it's essentially came down to 2 photo shoots that I had, or 2 extended trips in 2019, and since that there have been some more that have reinforced the decision. The first was shooting ballet dancers in Cuba, and the second was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to photograph a geisha in Japan with full behind-the-scenes access of her getting ready, getting dressed, getting her makeup done before the performance. So I have to confess that I've been kind of a Luddite in my approach to thinking about the autofocus capabilities that mirrorless cameras of the last couple of years have offered, specifically the Sonys. I spent decades honing my skills to be able to get focus in difficult situations that I think elevated my shot over beginners. And to be honest, I was a bit frustrated that now people could just pick a camera up off the shelf that would do all of that for them, grab the eye, track it, without them having to put in the hard yards to kind of earn that. But it's a foolish way of going about it. I realized on both of those shoots last year that they were both unrepeatable opportunities where I really wanted to be in the moment. So whilst I didn't need, per se, the autofocus system to do that job for me, I was able to do it myself. To have the option to have the camera do that for me and be able to put that percentage of my mind out from the technical settings and what I'm doing with the camera, and to put that back into the scene, to be giving my attention to the dancers or to be present in the moment with the geisha, was really important to me, especially for the shoot in Japan. That was something that I'd been trying to set up for years and years, and it was as important for me to be mentally present and experience and enjoy the evening as it was to document it, because for me it seems like it's a fading art, and I did want to document it, but I really wanted to make sure I enjoyed it at the time. So the fact that as of August, September 2019, I was able to have that option that I didn't with my DSLRs, I wanted to take these along and try it out, and it worked beautifully. But yes, of course, now in early 2020, you can get a similar result with the eye autofocus from Canon and Nikon, thanks to their latest firmware updates. However, Sony has made their autofocus system available to lens companies like Sigma and Tamron, which makes the process easier, faster, and arguably more accurate for them to make third-party lenses. That's something Canon and Nikon aren't going to do. So whilst we probably will see those lenses flow eventually, Nikon and Canon were late to the game. They're not sharing their specifications with the other companies, so it's going to take longer, and it may not end up being quite as good in AF performance. So that brings us on to the main topic of the video, looking at my lens options, and third-party lenses are a consideration for me. So like any mirrorless shooter, having this kind of a small flange distance opens up the potential to use my DSLR lenses and rangefinder lenses via adapter. So for manual shooting, for casual shooting, that sorts out a lot of my requirements. So this video, I'm really looking more at E-mount autofocus options. Now, to figure that out, I approached it in two different ways. Firstly, having had the opportunity to shoot with loads and loads of lenses over the years, but specifically on those last few shoots, I just tried to think back on which lenses I most enjoyed shooting with. And to be honest, the enjoyment of the process is still really important to me. It's not the number one, but it is something that I consider and I want to enjoy the process. Secondly, I went to my image library and I actually took a look at how many photos I took with each different focal length and with each different lens. And then I looked at, out of those, how many were keeper shots. When I had done my cull down to the best shots, which lenses or focal lengths was I getting the best results with? And then by cross-referencing that, looking at what I enjoyed to shoot, what I shot the most, and which I got the most keepers with, it becomes pretty clear pretty quickly which ones you should get first, which ones maybe you should hold off on, and which ones you really don't need to put money down on. First was the 24mm f1.4 G Master. Now, I enjoyed using it, but I didn't realize I had used it quite that much. And when I looked at the data, it was actually one of the most used lenses I used just last week in Las Vegas at a big job we had going on there. And then also for the geisha shoot in Japan. So being that a lot of the keepers were from that lens, a huge number of the shots taken were with it, and I enjoyed using it, that's an obvious first one. Now, this is actually the one that I rented and took to Las Vegas with me, but I am intending to buy this one. Next up, 50 to 55mm is always a key focal length for me. I used to shoot it a lot, then I kind of went off 50mm, but coming back to it in the last couple of years, I'm finding that I really enjoy it again. Looking through the metadata backed that up, and I think I'm gonna go with the 55mm f1.8 Zeiss lens. It's fantastic value for money, so much lighter and cheaper than the 1.4 option. And KH currently have them up in excellent condition for 25 to 30% off retail. As I said, they give them a 6-month warranty, and in my experience, excellent from them generally means that they're indistinguishable from new, to my eye anyway. So that's one that I'm definitely going to grab. Next up, 85mm is another one that I found I use a lot when I'm shooting mirrorless, specifically with the Sony bodies. Now, I already own the 85 1.8 Bardis, so I won't be getting the 85 G Master. That is a great lens, but there's no point in doubling it up, and this is also a great lens. Next up, I really loved shooting with and loved the results of this guy, the 135 f1.8 G Master, which again I have rented for the job in Las Vegas. But to my surprise, despite how much I enjoyed using it, and there were quite a number of keepers as a percentage of the shots taken, the number of shots I actually took with it were reasonably low. And given that this retails for over $2,000, I think I will hold off on this one until I can get a good used one at a decent price. Now, let's talk zooms. On DSLR, I use 24 to 70 a lot, but for whatever reason, I find that I don't really with the Sonys. I'm not thrilled with the 24 to 70 that they make, and just looking over the data, very few of my keepers were taken with the 24 to 70. So at the moment, I'm at 24mm, 55mm, 85mm, and maybe, let's see, one day, the 135. So there's definitely room for a longer zoom in there. And I think I'm actually going to go for something a little different, which is one of the reasons why Sony having their mount open to brands like Zeiss and Tamron and Sigma is so great. Last week at WPPI, I had the opportunity to shoot with the upcoming Tamron 70 to 180 f2.8 lens. It's a lot shorter, squatter, lighter than the 70 to 200 options. And I'm guessing it's going to come in at around $1,200 to $1,300 total guess, but if I'm right, that's going to make it half the price of the Sony G Master 70 to 200, and it's a lot lighter, a lot smaller, and I think a better balance on the camera, and just as importantly, it's excellent image quality. And you might be surprised that I shoot with third-party lenses, but look, we're all on a budget, and especially those of us who are in business, keeping your costs low is critical to find that balance as you're trying to grow your business. If you're in business for yourself or interested to start your own business, photography or otherwise, make sure you check out my business course, links above. So that's my current plan, the 24mm 1.4 G Master, the 55 and 85 1.8 Zeisses, the 70 to 180 Tamron when it comes out, if the price is right, and maybe, let's see, the 135 1.8 down the track. It's quite new. KEH don't have one in stock at this minute, but their stock is updating all the time, so I'll be keeping an eye out for that. Let me know your thoughts on all of that, and if you've been through this process recently, share with everyone else what your first lenses were in your mirrorless journey. And for those of you considering what you should buy, I do recommend that process of thinking about how you like to shoot, what you like to shoot, and then reviewing the data to see what you actually shoot with the most and which actually produces the best results. Thanks again to KEH Camera for sponsoring this video. Check them out below. They have a huge inventory. If you're looking to buy, you can use the code MATTG and get an extra 5% off your order. Cheers guys, let me know any questions you might have, and I'll see you soon.